Hi, how are you doing? I want to welcome you in my video, in which I'm going to tell you all you need to know about the so-called American Dream. This is one of the topics that you will need to understand and analyze when you're preparing for your school leaving exam. This is a really interesting topic, and after you've watched this video, you'll know exactly what it's all about, and you'll be able to answer all questions with confidence. Here's what we are gonna look at. The definition of the term. What is it? What does it mean? And also, where does it come from? Number 2. We'll look at the main American values because they're closely connected to this topic. Number 3. Different concepts of this term. Myth versus reality. Also, we'll look at the criticism of the American Dream and the American Dream today. And after that, we'll look at its representation in literature and music. At the end of this video, I'll show you some examples of typical study questions. Let's start. What is the American Dream? Basically, the main meaning of the American Dream is that it doesn't matter where you're from, what kind of family you grew up in, what schools you went to, or how much money your parents have. What matters is that if you work hard, you can achieve success. You can become anything: a rich business person, a politician, or some other leader. The only thing you need is lots of hard work. And when you've achieved your goals, nobody will want to know what your background is. It's up to you if you're successful in life, and it's your own fault if you aren't. You may have seen sentences like, "You can make it," or "From rags to riches," or "From dishwasher to millionaire." Okay, but where do all these thoughts come from? It goes back to the earliest immigrants, or settlers, to this land. One of the most important groups were the Protestants. And it is their philosophy that if people work hard and are successful in life, God is happy. According to their ethic, every person is responsible for their own lives. We shouldn't rely on anybody else to do our work for us. And it was really this that so many people all over the world found so great, that if they came to America and tried hard, they could find a better life. Let me tell you a bit more about the basic American values, as they're closely connected to the American Dream topic. The values that shape the American lives have their origin in the settlers' past. Namely, it is the freedom of the individual, which in history mainly referred to their religious freedom. Today, it also stands for freedom of speech and freedom to live our lives without discrimination. Self-reliance and also self-discipline and self-sufficiency are very similar. They all tell us that everybody should take care of themselves and not rely on other people. And these 4 values, together with hard work, go back to the American Dream. If you follow this, you will succeed in your job and life. Everything I've told you until now is the basic understanding of the American Dream. But of course, the word itself, dream, tells you quite openly that it is what it is, a dream only. The American Dream is both a myth and reality. Think about it. If everybody could really achieve success by working hard, it would be great. And success, in many cases, means money. But that is not the way things are. Sure, for some people, the American dream came true. For example, for a man called Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was born in Europe, in Austria, and emigrated to the US. He was good at fitness and bodybuilding, but after some time he became an actor and a famous celebrity. Later on, he became a politician. There are more stories like him. For example, some celebrities were born in very poor families but managed to become famous anyway. For these people, the American dream, in its real material meaning, came true. But apart from these lucky ones, there are millions of people who have not been successful in the world of work and success. They are Americans, but they're not living any dream at all, even if they work hard. This leads us to the criticism of the American dream and also its situation today. Many people have criticized the whole American dream theory because it is untrue and makes people believe things that are not likely, and so gives them unrealistic hopes of life. In the USA, many people are poor, especially people belonging to the African American groups and Hispanics. A lot of people live in ghettos in big cities where there's a lot of crime and bad education and job opportunities. Great historical figures, among these Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, spoke about this and tried to make people aware of the fact that the American dream is not shared fairly or equally among all people, but that certain groups are discriminated against and so have little chance of succeeding at anything. But it's not only the minority groups that suffer the most. A lot of people are out of jobs today because of the ongoing economic crisis. Individual people, as well as the whole country, have huge debts that nobody knows when they'll be paid off. Even people who have a job sometimes cannot afford to buy a health insurance, which is currently one of the biggest political topics, and the situation is about to change drastically. But let's come back to today's topic. The question of whether or not the American dream can become a reality has been a very popular theme both in literature and in music. The first book I'll show you is The Great Gatsby. It was written by Francis Scott Fitzgerald, and this novel shows us the world of the American 20s. Mainly, it's about a rich man called Jay Gatsby, and we see his rise and fall. And the second book I want to talk about is Angela's Ashes. This novel was written by Frank McCourt and tells us about the poverty of immigrants. And in music, the theme of the American dream can be heard in, for example, some of Madonna's songs. And now, as promised, I'm going to show you some examples of typical study questions that you may find in your test at school. It could be, for example, this one. The American dream, is it a myth or is it reality? Give your personal opinion. Or this one. What are the main values that the American dream stands on? Or illustrate in which way the original American dream of the settlers was fulfilled in the 20th century and discuss its situation in the 21st century. You see, it's not that difficult. I am sure you know the answer to these questions already. But if you want to make sure you remember everything well, why don't you watch this video later again? Thanks for listening and have a nice day. Bye-bye.